The scream cut through the Mississippi heat like a knife through butter. Marcus Thompson dropped the eviction notice, 48 hours to vacate, and ran. His boots hit dirt, then gravel, his heart pounding against his ribs. Not now. Not today. Not when he was already losing everything. He found her on County Road 47, blonde hair, wild white dress, torn blood on her hands, standing over a smoking BMW with a gun trembling in her grip. "He's coming," she whispered. "My father. He'll kill you for helping me." Marcus should have walked away. Should have let the rich girl and her problems disappear down that empty road. But something in her eyes, pure terror mixed with desperate hope, made him stay. That decision would cost him everything, and save them both. Drop a comment with your city so I can see how far this story reaches. The scream wasn't like the movies. It was raw, primal, the sound of someone who'd never screamed before and didn't know how to stop. Marcus Thompson's hands were still shaking from reading the bank's final notice when he heard it. 48 hours. That's all he had left before 4 generations of Thompson blood and sweat got auctioned off to the highest bidder. He was halfway to the road before his brain caught up to his legs. County Road 47, stretched empty in both directions, heat shimmering off asphalt. The BMW sat crooked on the shoulder hood, up white smoke pouring out. A woman stood beside it. Blonde 30s, designer dress, now torn at the hem, holding a small pistol, like it was a snake she couldn't drop. Blood streaked her hands. "Ma'am." Marcus slowed, hands visible, voice calm. "Ma'am, are you hurt?" She spun. Her eyes were too wide, pupils blown. "Stay back." "I'm not gonna hurt you." Marcus stopped 10 feet away. "My name's Marcus Thompson. I live right over there." He pointed to his farmhouse. "Heard you scream. Came to help." "You can't help." Her voice cracked. "Nobody can help. Why don't you put the gun down first? Then we'll figure out the rest." She looked at the pistol like she'd forgotten it existed. Her hand opened. The gun clattered onto the passenger seat through the open door. "I shot the engine," she whispered. "I thought I saw someone. In the mirror. Following me. And I panicked, and I—" Her knees buckled. Marcus caught her before she hit the ground. She was lighter than she looked, trembling like a bird. Up close, he could see the makeup smeared under her eyes the way her pupils wouldn't focus. Okay. I got you." He lowered her to sit on the road's edge. "You hurt anywhere, that blood yours." "The hood. I cut my hand on the hood." She held up her palm. Deep gash across the base of her thumb, still bleeding. "Need to get that cleaned up." Marcus pulled off his bandana, wrapped it around her hand. "What's your name?" "Emma." She met his eyes for the first time. Emma Sutton. The name meant nothing to Marcus. Should it? "All right, Emma. Here's what's gonna happen. You're gonna come to my house. We're gonna clean that hand, and you're gonna tell me who's following you. That sound okay?" "You don't understand." "Don't need to understand to help." Marcus stood, offered his hand. "Come on, sun's brutal out here." She stared at his outstretched hand for 3 full seconds before taking it. They walked in silence. Emma stumbled twice in her heels before Marcus stopped. Looked at her feet, looked at the road ahead. "Those are gonna kill you before we get there." He knelt. "Step out of them. The road's hot." "I'll carry the shoes. You walk on the grass edge." He pointed to the strip of cooler ground beside the gravel shoulder. Emma stepped out of her heels. Marcus picked them up, Louboutins he noticed, because Keisha used to browse those magazines and sigh. $1,500 if they were real. "You always run barefoot?" he asked as they started walking again. "First time running anywhere?" Emma's voice was steadier now. "I'm not very good at it." "Shooting your own engine was a pretty good distraction technique. Nobody's gonna chase a car that don't run." A surprised laugh burst out of her. "I didn't think of that." "Panic'll make you creative." Marcus shifted the shoes to his other hand. "So, Who's following you? Private security. Maybe. I don't know for sure, but my father... She stopped walking. God, you really don't know who I am, do you? Should I? Most people do? I'm not most people. Marcus gestured toward his farm. I'm a guy with 48 hours before the bank takes everything I own. Celebrity gossip ain't exactly top of my list. Emma's face did something complicated. Your farm. You're losing it. Yep. How much do you owe? That's a bold question from someone I met 5 minutes ago. I'm a bold person. She started walking again. When I'm not shooting engines and screaming. 47,000. The number tasted like ash. Might as well be 47 million for all the good it does me. That's nothing. Marcus stopped, turned, looked at her. Ma'am, I don't know what world you live in, but in mine $47,000 is everything. Emma's face flushed red. I didn't mean I'm sorry. That was... insensitive. Yeah. Marcus started walking again. But you got bigger problems than saying dumb things. So let's focus on keeping you alive first. Then you can apologize for being rich. I'm not apologizing for being rich. Then what are you apologizing for? Emma was quiet for a moment. For forgetting what it's like to have nothing to lose. The Thompson farmhouse had seen better decades. Paint-peeling porch, sagging screens, held together with duct tape and prayer. But the garden was immaculate tomatoes heavy on the vine beans climbing strings herbs in neat rows. Your wife's garden? Emma asked. Ex-wife. And no, mine. Marcus opened the screen door. Keisha hated gardening, said it was too much like work. Inside the house was clean but worn. Photos covered every wall, black faces spanning generations, all sharing the same strong jaw, the same direct gaze. Bathroom's upstairs, first door on the right, Marcus pointed. Get cleaned up. I'll find the first aid kit. When Emma came back down, Marcus had the kitchen table cleared, medical supplies, laid out, a glass of sweet tea, waiting. Sit. He gestured to the chair. Let me see that hand. She unwrapped the bandana. The cut was deep, but clean, no dirt visible. Marcus poured peroxide over it. Emma hissed, but didn't pull away. You got a high pain tolerance, he observed. Ballet for 12 years. You learned to dance through anything. Why'd you quit? My mother died. I was 15. Suddenly ballet seemed... Emma's voice caught. Pointless. Marcus applied antibiotic-ointment wrapped gauze carefully around her palm. My mama died when I was 17. Heart attack in the church choir. Died singing Amazing Grace. I'm sorry. She lived good, died doing what she loved. He secured the gauze with tape. Your mama, what happened? Breast cancer, stage 4 by the time they found it. Emma stared at her bandaged hand. My father threw money at every doctor, every treatment, every experimental drug. Didn't matter. She died anyway. Money can't buy everything. Try telling him that. Marcus sat back, studied her face. Your father, he's the one you're running from. Robert Sutton, you might have heard of him. Marcus had. Everyone had. Sutton Technologies, defense contracts, artificial intelligence, surveillance systems. Billionaire. Maybe the 15th richest man in America. You're Robert Sutton's daughter, Marcus said slowly. And you shot your own car to get away from him. From the life he's planned for me. Emma's jaw tightened. 3 weeks from now, I'm supposed to marry Jeremy Ashford. Another tech CEO. Merger of dynasties. Except I've met him twice, and both times he talked to my father while shaking my hand. You don't love him. I don't even like him. But my trust fund, my mother's inheritance, it's all contingent on the marriage. If I refuse, I get nothing. She laughed bitterly. 35 years old, and I need my father's permission to live my own life. So you ran. Made it 40 miles before I self-destructed. Literally. Emma met his eyes. And now I'm sitting in a stranger's kitchen bleeding on his table with nowhere to go and no plan beyond drive until I hit the ocean. Marcus poured himself tea, took a long drink. Outside, cicadas screamed in the heat. Inside, the refrigerator hummed. Time moved thick and slow. "You hungry?" he asked finally. "Starving." "Can you cook?" "No." "Then you're about to learn." Marcus stood, opened the refrigerator. Lesson 1: fried chicken takes planning. Lucky for you, I got a bird thawing. Lesson 2: don't just watch, you're gonna do the work. Why? Because if you're gonna hide out here for a few days, you're gonna earn your keep. He set the chicken on the counter. I don't have time for passengers. You work, you eat. You don't work, there's the road. Emma stood up. I've never what worked time to start. Marcus handed her an apron. Put that on, and take off those rings. You're about to get messy. For the next hour, Marcus taught Emma how to season chicken, how to heat oil to the right temperature, how to know when the crust was golden. She burned the first piece, undercooked the second. The third came out perfect. There. Marcus bit into it, nodded. That's edible. Edible? It's delicious. Emma's face was flushed from the heat, smiling for the first time since he'd found her. I made that. You did. Marcus started on the collard greens. Now come learn vegetables, and don't overcook them like white people do. I am white people. Your mama was Chinese. That counts for something. He handed her a knife. Chop those onions, small dice. If you cry, cry into the sink, not the pot. They cooked together as the sun lowered. Emma asked questions about the farm, about his family, about what it meant to be the fourth-generation working land that almost broke you. Marcus answered between teaching her to make cornbread, how to season by taste instead of recipe, how to know when greens were done by their smell. My mother used to cook, Emma said quietly, stirring the pot. Before my father got rich, before we had chefs and meal services and catered everything, she'd make these dumplings, pork and cabbage, and the whole house would smell like ginger and sesame oil. You remember the recipe? No, I was too young to pay attention. Emma's voice cracked. And then she got sick, and by the time I was old enough to ask, she was too tired to teach me. Marcus turned off the stove. Set the table. Food's ready. They ate in the kitchen, the good plates, because Marcus's mama had taught him, you always use the good plates for guests. Emma ate like she hadn't seen food in days. 3 pieces of chicken, 2 helpings of greens, 4 squares of cornbread. This is the best meal I've had in years, she said. You need better restaurants. I need a different life. Emma set down her fork. Marcus, can I stay here just for a few days, until I figure out what to do next? Your daddy's gonna send people looking. I know. They find you here, they're gonna ask questions I can't answer. I know. And I got 48 hours before the bank comes. After that, this ain't even my house to offer. Then let me help. Emma leaned forward. 47,000. I can write you a check right now. No. Why not? Because. Marcus stood, paced the small kitchen. Because I'm a black man trying to hold on to land my great-grandfather bought in 1947. You know what he went through to get this place, 20 years of saving, being turned down by every white bank in the county, finally getting approved at triple the interest rate, working himself half to death to make payments. That's not fair. Fair, Marcus's voice rose. My granddaddy got audited by the IRS 3 times in 5 years, while Tom next door white guy, same farm size, never got audited once. My daddy applied for an equipment loan in 1985, got turned down, watched his white neighbor get approved the same week. And me, I got charged higher insurance rates, higher interest, and when I asked why they said risk assessment. He stopped, breathing hard. So yeah, I could take money from Robert Sutton's daughter. But then what everyone in this county's gonna say, Marcus Thompson couldn't make it on his own. Needed a rich white woman to save him. That gonna be my legacy. Emma stood too. My mother used to tell me a story about her grandmother in China during the famine. She was starving, and a neighbor offered her rice, but she was proud, said she'd rather die than take charity. You know what my great-great-grandmother told her? Marcus waited. She said, "Pride is a luxury. When you're drowning, you don't refuse the rope because you didn't tie it yourself." That's different. How? Emma's eyes flashed. Your great-grandfather fought for 20 years to buy this land, and you're gonna lose it in 48 hours, because you're too proud to accept help that honor him or waste everything he built. The silence stretched tight as wire. It would be a loan, Marcus said finally. Legal documents, market rate interest, everything proper. Of course. And you work, every day. I'm not running a charity. I wouldn't expect you to. And when your father finds out, and he will, you're on your own. I'm not getting in the middle of a billionaire family drama. I understand. Marcus looked at her for a long moment. At this woman who'd stumbled into his life on his worst day, who'd learned to fry chicken with burns on her fingers, and didn't complain, who'd sat at his table like she belonged there. Why? He asked. Why would you do this? Emma's voice went soft. Because this morning I woke up in a hotel room, and I couldn't remember the last time someone asked what I wanted. Not what was best for the company. Not what my father expected. Just what I wanted. She met his eyes. And then I met you. And for 5 hours you treated me like a person. Not Robert Sutton's daughter. Not a trust fund. Just Emma. When's the last time someone did that for you? Saw you as just Marcus. Not Marcus the struggling farmer, or Marcus who needs saving, or Marcus who's black, so he must need help. Marcus couldn't answer. That's what I thought. Emma's smile was sad. So maybe we can help each other be just people for a little while, until we both figure out what comes next. People don't just give away $47,000. I'm not giving it away. I'm investing it. Emma pulled out her phone, cracked screen, low battery. In the first person who saw me in years. That seems like a smart investment. Marcus sat back down. His hands were shaking again, but this time not from fear. From something else. Something that felt dangerously close to hope. Okay, he said. Okay. But we do this right. Tomorrow morning, we go to the bank together. Legal loan documents, everything official, no shortcuts. Agreed. And you learn to work this farm, I mean really work, not just cook dinner and call it a day. I can do that. Can you? Marcus studied her face. You got blisters on your hands from washing dishes. This work is harder than anything you've done in your life. Good. Emma's jaw set. I want hard. I want real. I want to go to bed exhausted from working, not from pretending to be someone I'm not. You might regret saying that when I wake you at 4:30 to feed chickens. You have chickens. 23. You're about to become real familiar with them. A phone buzzed. Emma's face went white. She pulled it out, looked at the screen. It's him, she whispered. My father. 17 missed calls. You gonna answer? If I do, he'll trace the call. Track my location. Have people here within an hour. Then don't answer. He'll just send more people to find me. Let him send them. Marcus stood, started clearing dishes. This is private property. They can't come on my land without permission, and I don't give permission to folks I don't know. You do that, stand up to my father's security. I stood up to the bank for 3 years. I can stand up to some private cops. He rinsed a plate. But Emma, eventually you're gonna have to face him. Can't run forever. I know. She turned off her phone completely. But I can run for 48 more hours. By then, maybe I'll figure out what to say. Or maybe you'll learn to fry an egg without breaking the yolk. That'd be something. Emma laughed, surprised. Is everything a cooking lesson with you? Food's important. You can't fight battles on an empty stomach. Marcus handed her a dish towel. Dry those, then I'll show you where you're sleeping. They cleaned the kitchen together. Outside, the sun set fire to the cotton fields, turning white bowls golden. Cicadas sang their evening song. Somewhere in the distance, a dog barked. Marcus watched Emma dry dishes with her bandaged hand, her expensive dress stained with grease and flour, and thought about his mama's voice. "Baby, sometimes God sends you help in strange packages. Don't be too proud to open them." Maybe this was his strange package. A runaway heiress with no cooking skills and $47,000 she was willing to loan him. It wasn't how he'd imagined saving the farm. But then nothing about the last 3 years had gone how he'd imagined. "Come on," he said when the dishes were done. "I'll show you David's room. Fair warning, it's mostly Star Wars posters and dirty socks." "Who's David?" "My son, 16. Lives with his mama in Memphis." Marcus led her upstairs. "He comes summers. You'll meet him in a few weeks." "What's he like?" "Smart. Good kid. Wants to be an engineer." Marcus opened the door to David's room. "Hates farming. Says it's too much work for too little reward." "Is he wrong?" "No." Marcus pulled clean sheets from the closet. "But wrong doesn't mean it's not worth doing. You'll learn that once you've been here a few days." Emma took the sheets, started making the bed. "Marcus, thank you for helping me, for not asking more questions, for just being kind." "Don't thank me yet." Marcus leaned against the doorframe. "You haven't met the chickens. They're mean. Meaner than shooting your own car. Way meaner." After Emma settled in, Marcus stood on his front porch watching the stars come out. The eviction notice sat on the kitchen table. Tomorrow, he'd go to the bank with a woman he'd known for 8 hours and ask them to accept a check from a stranger. It was insane. It was desperate. It was everything his pride told him not to do. But his great-grandfather James hadn't been too proud to take that triple-interest loan. His grandfather Samuel hadn't been too proud to ask white neighbors for equipment when his own broke down. His father Robert hadn't been too proud to join the NAACP and fight for fair lending. Pride wasn't the legacy. Survival was. Holding on to the land no matter what it took, even if it meant accepting help from an heiress on the run. Marcus pulled out his phone, looked at the photo he kept as his wallpaper, David at 12 standing in the cotton field sun behind him, smiling that gap-toothed smile. "I'm gonna keep it, son," Marcus whispered to the picture. "Whatever it takes. I'm gonna keep our land." Inside the house, a light turned on in David's room. Emma's silhouette moved past the window, pacing probably. Worrying. Planning her next move. 2 people. 1 farm. 48 hours until everything changed. Marcus looked up at the stars, at the same sky his great-grandfather had looked up at, and his grandfather, and his father. "Mama," he said to the darkness, "I hope this is the right choice, because I sure as hell don't know what I'm doing." The cicadas sang louder, the stars burned cold and distant, and somewhere in the night, Robert Sutton's security team was getting closer. But tonight Marcus Thompson still owned his land, and tomorrow, if luck held and pride bent, he still would. That had to be enough. It had to be. Marcus woke at 4:15 to the sound of gravel crunching in his driveway. His hand found the baseball bat under his bed before his eyes fully opened. Through the window, headlights cut through the pre-dawn darkness. A black SUV engine idling, no one getting out. He pulled on jeans and moved downstairs, bat in hand. The kitchen clock read 4:17. Outside, a second vehicle pulled up behind the first. "Marcus!" Emma's voice came from the top of the stairs. She was wearing his old Memphis Tigers t-shirt, her hair wild from sleep. "What's happening?" "Stay upstairs." "Like hell." She came down barefoot, wrapping her arms around herself. "If they're here for me, we don't know who they're here for yet." Marcus moved to the window, peered through the curtain. 2 men in dark suits climbed out of the first SUV. Professional. Alert. Scanning the property like they were looking for threats. One of them spoke into a radio. "That's corporate security," Emma whispered. "My father's people." The second SUV's doors opened. 4 more men. Same suits. Same posture. 6 of them. Marcus said. That seemed normal to you. Nothing about my father is normal. Emma's voice shook. Marcus, you should let me go out there. Tell them you didn't know who I was, that I broke down and you helped me and they'll what? Thank me politely and drive away. Marcus set down the bat, pulled out his phone. I'm calling the sheriff. No. Emma grabbed his hand. My father has connections everywhere. The sheriff, the mayor, probably the governor. You call the cops, they'll side with him. This is Mississippi, not Boston. Sheriff Hayes has known me since I was 8 years old. And how much did your family donate to his re-election campaign? Marcus's jaw tightened. Not as much as your father, I'm guessing. Exactly. Emma moved to the window. Let me talk to them, alone. I'll tell them I'm leaving voluntarily, that you had nothing to do with... A knock on the door. 3 sharp raps. Mr. Thompson. A voice smooth and professional. Mr. Marcus Thompson. My name is David Chen. I'm head of security for Sutton Technologies. We need to speak with you about Emma Sutton. Marcus looked at Emma. She nodded once, her face pale. He opened the door but didn't step back. Didn't invite them in. David Chen was 40-something Asian American with the kind of calm that came from serious training. His suit probably cost more than Marcus's truck. Mr. Thompson, I apologize for the early hour. Chen's eyes flicked past. Marcus found Emma standing in the kitchen doorway. Miss Sutton, your father is very concerned. He's asked us to escort you home. I'm not going home, Emma said. Miss Sutton, I'm 35 years old. I'm not missing. I'm not in danger. I left of my own free will. Chen's expression didn't change. Your father has filed a wellness check. He's concerned about your mental state given recent events. What recent events? Emma stepped forward. The fact that I don't want to marry a stranger, that's not a mental health crisis, that's common sense. Your car was found abandoned on a county road. You discharged a firearm. You left behind your credit cards, your identification, everything. Chen's voice stayed level. From our perspective, those are concerning behaviors. From my perspective, those are the actions of someone who wants privacy. Nevertheless, your father has asked us to bring you back to Boston. For your own safety. I'm perfectly safe here. Chen's eyes moved to Marcus. Mr. Thompson, I'm sure you're a decent man, but this situation is more complicated than you realize. Miss Sutton has been under significant stress. She's not thinking clearly. We need to get her proper care. She seems pretty clear to me, Marcus said. With respect, you don't know her medical history, her family situation, the pressures she's been under. Chen pulled out his phone, showed Marcus a photo. Emma in a hospital bed, tubes running from her arms, eyes closed. This was 3 years ago. Exhaustion, they called it. But it was more than that. Miss Sutton has struggled with anxiety, depression, panic attacks. Without her medication, without proper support. That's bullshit, Emma said. Show him the whole story, David. Tell him why I was in that hospital. Chen's mouth tightened. I was there because I worked 90-hour weeks for 6 months straight on a project my father insisted had to be done by his deadline. Emma's voice rose. I collapsed during a board meeting. They found stress fractures in my ribs from tension. My blood pressure was through the roof, and the anxiety medication my father's doctor prescribed it. Said I needed to relax more, be less emotional. Miss Sutton, this isn't the time. No, this is exactly the time. Emma moved to stand beside Marcus. Because you're trying to make me sound unstable when really I'm the most stable I've been in years. I made a choice. To leave. To build a different life. That's not crazy. That's brave. Chen sighed. Miss Sutton, please. Don't make this difficult. Your father loves you. He only wants what's best. My father wants what's best for Sutton Technologies. There's a difference. 6 months, Chen said quietly. If you come back now, work with us, I can convince your father to postpone the wedding 6 months. Give you time to think, to prepare, to... I don't need 6 months to know I don't want to marry Jeremy Ashford. Emma crossed her arms. I need you to leave. I'm afraid I can't do that. Then you're trespassing. Marcus stepped forward, his body between Chen and Emma. This is private property. You got no warrant, no legal authority, and the lady said no. Time for you to go. Chen studied Marcus for a long moment. Mr. Thompson, do you have any idea who you're dealing with? Yeah, a man who works for someone else, just like me. Marcus held Chen's gaze. Difference is, I know when to mind my own business. This is my business. Not anymore, not on my land. For 3 heartbeats, nobody moved. Then Chen nodded slowly. All right, we'll leave. He pulled out a business card, set it on the porch rail. But Miss Sutton, your father wants you to know something. The trust fund clause. It activates in 72 hours if you don't return. No money, no access to your mother's inheritance. Nothing. Emma's face went white. He's giving you time to reconsider, Chen continued. 3 days to come home, resume your responsibilities, honor your commitments. After that, he shrugged, you'll be on your own. Completely. I'm already on my own. Are you? Or are you hiding behind Mr. Thompson, using his kindness while you figure out your next move? Chen's voice softened. Emma, I've known you since you were 15. I drove you to your mother's funeral. I've watched you grow up. And I'm telling you, as someone who cares about you, this isn't the answer. Running never is. Maybe I'm not running. Maybe I'm finally running toward something instead of away. Chen shook his head. 72 hours. He looked at Marcus. Mr. Thompson, thank you for your hospitality. I hope you understand what you're getting involved in. I understand I'm helping someone who needs help. Don't need to understand more than that. The security team left in formation, military precise. Their taillights disappeared down the road, and the sound of engines faded into the dawn. Marcus closed the door, locked it, turned to find Emma sitting on the bottom stair, her head in her hands. 3 days, she whispered. I have 3 days before I lose everything my mother left me. How much are we talking? 20 million, give or take. Marcus sat down beside her. And your father can just take that away. It's in a trust, controlled by him until I'm 40 or until I marry someone he approves of. Those were the terms my mother agreed to before she died. Emma's voice cracked. She thought she was protecting me, making sure I'd be taken care of. She didn't know it would become a cage. Can you fight it legally? With what money? The lawyers would cost millions, years in court, and my father would make sure I never worked in tech again, never had access to any of my connections, never. She stopped. I'd have nothing, no money, no career, no life. You'd have your freedom. Is freedom worth $20 million? Marcus was quiet for a moment. My great-grandfather saved for 20 years to buy this farm. You know how much he paid? $1,800. That was everything he had, every penny. And people told him he was crazy paying that much for land that barely grew cotton for a house that was falling apart for a dream that would probably kill him. What did he say? He said some things can't be measured in money. Some things are worth everything you have and more. Marcus looked at her. So yeah, I think freedom's worth $20 million. But that's easy for me to say. I've never had $20 million. Emma laughed, but it came out more like a sob. I don't know what to do. Right now, we're gonna feed chickens. Then we're gonna go to the bank, save my farm, and figure out the rest later. Marcus, did you hear what I just said? I might lose everything. I heard you, and you might, but that doesn't change what needs doing today. He stood, offered his hand. Come on, chickens don't care about trust funds. Emma took his hand, let him pull her up. You're infuriating, you know that. So I've been told, get dressed, wear something you don't mind ruining. 30 minutes later, Marcus led Emma to the chicken coop. 23 birds, mostly Rhode Island Reds, scattered around a clean but aging structure. First rule, Marcus said, opening the gate. Respect the chickens. They're mean, they're fast, and they remember grudges. They're birds. They're dinosaurs in bird costumes. Don't underestimate them. He handed her a bucket of feed. Scatter it around the yard, not in piles. Spread it out so they don't fight. Emma took the bucket, started throwing feed. Immediately chickens swarmed her, pecking at her feet, her legs jumping at the bucket. Too fast, Marcus called. Slow and steady, let them settle. They're attacking me. They're hungry. There's a difference. By the time Emma finished, she had scratches on her arms, feet in her hair, and pure fury in her eyes. I hate them, she declared. They don't care. Marcus collected eggs from the nesting boxes, showed her how to check for freshness, how to handle them without breaking. This is what you wanted, right? Real work, honest living. I wanted purpose, not assault by poultry. Same thing. He handed her the egg basket. Take these inside, wash them gently, put them in the carton in the fridge. I'll get the truck ready. The First National Bank of Yazoo County occupied a brick building that had stood since 1923. Inside it smelled like old paper and anxiety. Marcus had spent more hours in this building than he wanted to remember, always asking for more time, more understanding, more mercy. Today felt different. Today he walked in with a check. Marcus Thompson. Patricia Williams looked up from her desk, her reading glasses on a chain around her neck. She'd been working at First National for 30 years, had processed his father's loans, his grandfather's loans. Please tell me you're here with good news. I'm here to pay off my debt. Marcus set the check on her desk. Emma stood beside him, her head high despite the chicken scratches on her arms. Patricia picked up the check, studied it, then looked at Emma. Her eyebrows rose. Emma Sutton, as in Sutton Technologies. Yes, ma'am. And you're loaning Marcus $47,000. Yes, ma'am. Patricia looked between them, her expression impossible to read. This is highly irregular. But legal, Emma said. I've prepared loan documents, market rate interest, 5-year repayment schedule, everything above board. She placed a folder on the desk. If you need to verify the funds... Oh, I'm verifying everything. Patricia put on her glasses, started reading. Does your father know about this? My trust fund is mine to manage as I see fit. Until you're 40, or married. Patricia glanced up. That's public information, by the way. Part of your mother's estate filing. Emma's jaw tightened, but she said nothing. Patricia read for 10 minutes while Marcus stood there, sweat gathering at his collar despite the air conditioning. Finally, she set down the papers. These documents are in order. She looked at Marcus. You understand what you're agreeing to. Market rate is 7%. Over 5 years you'll pay back $63,000. I understand. And if you default, Miss Sutton can claim the property. I won't default. Your father said the same thing. So did your grandfather. Patricia's voice softened. Marcus, this farm has been in your family for 77 years. Don't risk it on... She stopped, glanced at Emma. On uncertain arrangements. The only uncertain thing was whether I'd lose it to the bank. Marcus met her eyes. Now I got a fighting chance. That's more than I had yesterday. Patricia was quiet for a moment. Then she nodded. All right, I'll process this. The foreclosure notice will be withdrawn by end of business today. Marcus felt something unknot in his chest, something that had been tight for 3 years. Thank you, Patricia. Don't thank me, thank her. Patricia looked at Emma. And Miss Sutton, I hope you know what you're doing. This town talks. By tomorrow, everyone will know Robert Sutton's daughter loaned money to Marcus Thompson. People will have questions. Let them question. They'll have opinions too, not all of them kind. I'm used to that. Patricia sighed, stamped the documents, entered information into her computer. You'll receive confirmation by email within the hour. Marcus, the property is yours, for now. They walked out into the Mississippi heat. Marcus made it to his truck before his legs started shaking. He leaned against the hood, breathing hard. You okay? Emma touched his arm. I just saved my farm. His voice came out rough. With money from a woman I met yesterday. That's not okay, that's insane. Insane is letting banks steal what your family built. People are gonna talk. You heard Patricia? By tomorrow, this whole county's gonna know your name. Good. Maybe my father will hear about it too. Maybe he'll realize I'm serious about building a different life. Marcus looked at her. You really think loaning me money is gonna change his mind about the wedding? No, but it'll prove I can make my own decisions, that I don't need his permission to live. Even if it costs you $20 million. Emma was quiet for a long moment. You know what the worst part about being rich is? Everyone assumes money is the most important thing. That I'd do anything to keep it. That without it, I'd be nothing. Wouldn't you? I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find out. She opened the truck door. Can we go home? I want to learn how to make biscuits. Home. She'd called his farm home. Marcus climbed into the truck, started the engine. Biscuits are harder than chicken. Everything is harder than I thought it would be. That mean you're giving up? That means I'm just getting started. Back at the farm, Marcus taught Emma how to make biscuits the way his grandmother had taught him. Flour, butter, buttermilk, salt. No measurements, just feel. Emma's first batch came out like hockey pucks. These are terrible, she declared, biting into one. Yep. You're supposed to be encouraging. I'm supposed to be honest. Try again. Marcus dumped the failed biscuits in the compost. Less working the dough. Biscuits like to be handled gentle. Her second batch was better. Flaky golden, almost right. Now we're cooking, Marcus said, slathering one with butter and honey. Literally. They ate lunch on the porch. Biscuits, leftover chicken, fresh tomatoes from the garden. Emma's phone buzzed 17 times. She turned it face down and ignored it. Your father, Marcus asked. Probably, or Jeremy, or my father's lawyers, or... She stopped. Do you ever just want to disappear? Like completely no phone, no email, no way for anyone to find you? Every time the bank called. What stopped you? This place. These fields. Knowing if I left 4 generations of Thompsons would be ashamed of me. Marcus looked out at his land. Also David. Couldn't disappear on my son. When's he coming for the summer? 2 weeks. He doesn't know about the foreclosure scare. Didn't want to worry him during finals. Are you going to tell him about me? Marcus hadn't thought about that. What would I tell him? Hey son, I borrowed money from a runaway heiress who's hiding from her billionaire father. Emma laughed. When you put it that way, it sounds insane. That's because it is insane. Good. I like insane. Sane hasn't been working out for me. A truck pulled into the driveway. Old blue Ford rusted wheel wells engine that knocked. Marcus recognized it immediately. That's Tom, he said, standing. My neighbor. Tom Henderson climbed out, 60-something white, wearing overalls and a John Deere cap. He'd been farming the property next door for 40 years, had helped Marcus's father through 2 bad crop seasons, had loaned Marcus equipment when his own broke down. Marcus? Tom nodded. Then he saw Emma and his eyes narrowed. Miss. Tom, this is Emma. Emma Tom Henderson. Heard you had a visitor. Tom didn't shake Emma's hand. Whole town's talking. Say she's Robert Sutton's daughter. News travels fast. Patricia Williams's sister works at the diner. She heard about the loan. By the time I got my morning coffee, everyone knew. Tom looked at Emma. That true? You're Robert Sutton's kid? Yes, sir. And you loaned Marcus money to save his farm? Yes, sir. Tom was quiet for a moment, chewing on something unsaid. Then he looked at Marcus. Can I talk to you privately? They walked toward the barn out of Emma's earshot. You out of your damn mind. Tom kept his voice low but intense. You know what people are saying. that you're taking advantage of her, that she's taking advantage of you, that this is some publicity stunt, some rich girl playing farmer. I don't care what people say. Well, you should, because they're also saying other things, about a black man and a white woman, and not all of it's polite. Tom's face was troubled. Marcus, I got nothing against her. I'm sure she's nice, but you're putting yourself in a dangerous position, socially, financially, every other way. Dangerous, Tom. I was about to lose my farm. That was dangerous. And now you owe money to Robert Sutton's daughter. You think that's safer? Tom shook his head. What happens when she changes her mind? Decides farm life ain't so fun anymore, wants her money back early. You gonna be able to pay? We signed contracts. Everything's legal. Legal don't mean safe. Not when you're dealing with billionaires. Tom put his hand on Marcus's shoulder. Look, I get it. You were desperate, but son, desperation makes us do things we regret. And this feels like something you're gonna regret. Marcus pulled away. You done. I'm trying to help you. By telling me I made a mistake, by assuming the worst. Marcus's voice rose. Emma helped me when no one else would. Not the bank, not the county, not even my friends. So yeah, maybe it's complicated. Maybe it won't work out. But at least I still have my farm. At least I get to try. Tom's face hardened. Fine. Do what you want, but don't come crying to me when this blows up in your face. He walked back to his truck, climbed in, drove away without another word. Marcus stood there, fists clenched, breathing hard. He's worried about you. Emma had appeared beside him. I heard most of that. He thinks I'm going to hurt you. He thinks everyone's going to hurt everyone. That's just Tom. He's not wrong, though. About this being complicated, about people talking. Emma's voice was quiet. Marcus, I can leave. Go back to Boston. Tell my father I've reconsidered Mary Jeremy and let you pay back the loan on your terms. No one has to know I was here. Everyone already knows you're here. Then I can minimize the damage. Say it was temporary insanity that you talked sense into me that... Stop. Marcus turned to face her. You really think running back to your father is the answer, after everything you said? I think I don't want to ruin your life because I'm too scared to face mine. You're not ruining anything, you're helping. Am I? Or am I just hiding while you take all the heat? Emma's eyes filled with tears. David Chen was right. I am using your kindness, using this place, using you. That what you think you're doing. I don't know what I'm doing. That's the problem. Marcus was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, Come with me. He led her to the south field, to an oak tree so old it had probably been there when his great-grandfather bought the land. Under the tree a simple stone marker, James Thompson, 1898 to 1970. Beside it, two more Samuel Thompson, 1925 to 1998. Robert Thompson, 1950 to 2012. 3 generations, Marcus said. All buried here because this land meant everything to them, more than money, more than comfort, more than what anyone else thought. They had each other, though, family. You have David. I have... Emma stopped. I have nothing. You have a choice. That's more than nothing. A choice between money and freedom. That's not a choice. That's a punishment. Maybe, but it's yours to make. Marcus looked at the graves. My great-grandfather could have given up when every bank turned him down. My grandfather could have sold out when the drought hit. My father could have walked away when the NAACP fights got dangerous. But they didn't. Because choosing the hard thing, the right thing, the thing that matters, that's what makes you free. Not money, not comfort, choice. Emma wiped her eyes. What if I choose wrong? Then you choose again. That's the beauty of freedom. You get to keep choosing. They stood under the oak tree, 3 graves between them, and generations of Thompson courage. Marcus thought about his great-grandfather's hands stained with cotton and determination. Thought about his grandfather's voice singing in the fields. Thought about his father's face the day he'd told Marcus the farm would be his someday. "I'm gonna keep this land," Marcus said quietly. "Whatever it takes. However hard it gets. And Emma, if you stay, if you help me work it, if you build something here with me, that's your choice too. Not your father's, not mine, yours." Emma looked at him for a long moment. Then she nodded. "Okay," she said. "Okay, I'll stay. For now. Until I figure out what comes next. Fair enough?" "But Marcus, when this gets messy, and it will get messy, don't say I didn't warn you. I've been farming in Mississippi for 25 years. Messy's all I know." They walked back to the house as afternoon settled into evening. Emma's phone buzzed again. And again. And again. 68 hours until her trust fund disappeared. 68 hours to figure out if freedom was worth everything she'd ever known. Marcus made dinner while Emma peeled potatoes. Neither of them talked about tomorrow, about the security team, about the choice getting closer with every tick of the clock. Tonight, they just cooked. Just existed. Just chose for a few more hours to be exactly where they were. And tomorrow would make its own demands. It always did. The phone call came at 2 a.m. Marcus jerked awake to the sound of his cell buzzing on the nightstand. Unknown number. He almost didn't answer, then thought about David, about emergencies, about all the reasons people called in the middle of the night. "Hello." "Mr. Thompson, this is Robert Sutton." Marcus sat up suddenly, wide awake. The voice was calm, controlled, the kind of calm that came from wielding power so long you forgot what it felt like to ask for anything. "Mr. Sutton? I apologize for the late hour, but we need to talk about my daughter. She's sleeping. I'm sure she is. In my son's room, I believe David's room, with the Star Wars posters." Robert paused. "Yes, Mr. Thompson. I know where my daughter is. I've known since 6 hours after she left Boston. The question isn't where she is. The question is why you're harboring her." Marcus's grip tightened on the phone. "I'm not harboring anyone. Emma's an adult making her own choices. Emma is having a mental health crisis. Her therapist agrees. Her doctors agree. Everyone who knows her agrees that running away, shooting her car, hiding on a farm in Mississippi, these are not the actions of a stable person." "Seems pretty stable to me." "You've known her for 36 hours. I've known her for 35 years. I think I'm better qualified to assess her mental state." "With respect, sir, you're also the person she's running from. That might affect your assessment." The silence on the other end lasted 5 seconds. Then Robert laughed. It wasn't a pleasant sound. "I see Emma has told you her version of events. Let me give you mine." His voice hardened. "My daughter is a brilliant woman who has struggled with anxiety and depression since her mother died. She's been in therapy for 20 years. She's on medication that she left behind when she ran. And yes, I arranged a marriage to Jeremy Ashford because Jeremy understands her condition, is willing to support her, and comes from a family that can provide the resources she needs." "Sounds like you're selling livestock, not planning a wedding." "I'm protecting my daughter from making decisions that will destroy her life. Or decisions that don't fit your plans. Mr. Thompson." Robert's voice went cold. "I've done my research on you. 4th-generation farmer, divorced, behind on your mortgage until yesterday when my daughter inexplicably loaned you $47,000. Tell me, how long had you been planning this? Planning what? Don't insult my intelligence. A struggling black farmer, a vulnerable white woman with access to millions. The optics are convenient, aren't they?" Marcus was on his feet now, pacing his bedroom. "You think I'm running some kind of scam? I think you saw an opportunity and took it. I don't blame you. $47,000 is a life-changing amount of money for someone in your position. But Mr. Thompson, if you think my daughter's gratitude will turn into something more, if you think you can parlay this into a longer-term arrangement." Robert stopped. "You're making a mistake, a dangerous one. I helped your daughter because she needed help, that's all. No one helps strangers for free. Everyone wants something. Robert's voice softened slightly. Look, I'm not unsympathetic to your situation. You were desperate. The bank was foreclosing. Emma appeared at the right moment with the right solution. I understand the temptation. But this needs to end. Now. Tonight. That's Emma's decision, not mine. Then let me make you an offer. $100,000. Cash. Wired to your account by morning. In exchange, you drive my daughter to the Memphis airport tomorrow, put her on my plane, and we forget this ever happened. Marcus stopped pacing. You're trying to bribe me. I'm trying to compensate you for your time and trouble, and yes, for your silence. The press would have a field day with this story. Billionaire's daughter hides on black farmer's land. The racial dynamics alone would generate weeks of coverage. I'd rather avoid that spectacle. I'm not interested in your money. Everyone's interested in money, Mr. Thompson. It's just a question of the right amount. $100,000 to walk away from a situation that will only bring you trouble. Or we can do this the hard way. Robert paused. I can have attorneys question the legitimacy of Emma's loan. Argue she wasn't in her right mind when she signed those documents. Tie up your farm in legal proceedings for years. Or I can make a phone call to First National, have them audit every loan you've ever taken, every tax return you've filed. I guarantee we'll find something irregular. We always do. You're threatening me. I'm explaining consequences. Emma has 56 hours before her trust fund clause activates. When that happens, she'll have no money, no resources, no ability to support herself. She'll come crawling back to Boston and to Jeremy, and this little adventure will be over. So you can take my money now and save everyone time and trouble. Or you can wait 56 hours and lose both the money and Emma. Your choice. Marcus sat down on the edge of his bed. His hands were shaking again. I need to think about it. You have until morning, 8 a.m. After that, the offer expires and we proceed the hard way. Robert's voice softened one more time. Mr. Thompson, I don't want to destroy you, but I will protect my daughter. From herself if necessary. Are we clear? Crystal. The line went dead. Marcus sat in the dark phone in his hand, Robert Sutton's words echoing in his head. $100,000. More than twice what Emma had loaned him. Enough to not just save the farm, but actually improve it. New equipment. Repairs. Maybe even hire help. All he had to do was betray a woman who trusted him. He got up, walked downstairs, poured himself whiskey he kept for emergencies. This qualified. Marcus. He turned. Emma stood in the kitchen doorway, wearing his t-shirt, her hair tangled from sleep. Couldn't sleep, she asked. Your father called. Her face went pale. What did he say? Marcus told her. Everything. The threats. The offer, the 56 hours ticking down. Emma sat at the kitchen table, her hands wrapped around a mug of tea Marcus had made without asking if she wanted it. She hadn't touched it. $100,000, she said finally. That's what he thinks it costs to get rid of me. He's trying to protect you, in his own twisted way. He's trying to control me. There's a difference. Emma looked up. Are you going to take it? Do you want me to? I want you to be honest. If $100,000 would change your life, if it would make everything easier, if it would... Her voice cracked. I wouldn't blame you. This isn't your fight. Then whose fight is it? Mine. It's always been mine. Emma stood up, started pacing. God, I'm so stupid. I ran away thinking I could just disappear, start over, be someone new. Like money and power and surveillance teams don't exist. Like my father would just let me go. You're not stupid. I shot my own car, Marcus. That's pretty stupid. You were scared. I'm still scared. She stopped pacing, faced him. But now I'm scared for you too. Because my father doesn't make empty threats. If you don't take his money, he will destroy you, your farm, your reputation, everything. Let him try. You don't mean that. Don't I? Marcus set down his whiskey. Emma, your father called me at 2 in the morning to threaten me. Know what that tells me? It tells me he's scared. Actually, scared. Because if he wasn't, he'd just wait 56 hours and let the money run out. But he's offering me bribes, making threats, calling in the middle of the night. That's not confidence. That's fear. Fear of what? Fear that you might actually do it, actually walk away, actually choose freedom over his money. Marcus leaned forward. And Emma, that scares the hell out of him, because if you can do it, if you can prove you don't need him, then he loses all his power over you, forever. Emma sat back down slowly. You really think that's what this is about? I think powerful people don't threaten unless they're losing control, and your father's losing control of you. So what do? We wait 56 hours, see what happens. And if the trust fund disappears, if I lose everything, then you lose everything, but you'll still have your choice. That's more than you had 3 days ago. Emma reached across the table, took his hand. Marcus, I can't ask you to risk your farm for my family drama. You're not asking. I'm choosing. He squeezed her hand once, then let go. Now go back to bed. We got chickens to feed in 3 hours, and they don't care about billionaire fathers or trust funds. Emma laughed, wiped her eyes. You and those damn chickens. They're character building. They're demons with feathers. Same thing. After Emma went upstairs, Marcus sat at his kitchen table and watched the sun come up. At 7:55, his phone rang. Unknown number. He let it go to voicemail. At 8:30, it rang again. This time he answered. Mr. Thompson, Robert Sutton's voice. I didn't receive your confirmation. Should I assume you're declining my offer? You should assume I'm thinking about it. There's nothing to think about. Either you take the money or you don't. See, that's where you're wrong. There's a lot to think about, like what kind of man takes money to betray someone who trusted him. What that says about his character, his integrity, his worth. Marcus paused. My great-grandfather was offered triple his asking price for this farm in 1952. White developer wanted to put in a shopping center. Would have made him rich. You know what he said? I'm sure you're about to tell me. He said some things can't be sold at any price. Some things you hold on to because losing them would mean losing yourself. Marcus looked out the window at his land, at the fields his family had worked for 77 years. So no, Mr. Sutton. I'm not taking your money. I'm not putting Emma on a plane. I'm not helping you force your daughter into a life she doesn't want. Silence. Then Robert said very quietly, You've made a serious mistake. Probably, but it's my mistake to make. We'll see how long your nobility lasts when the lawyers come, when the auditors show up, when every newspaper in Mississippi is running stories about the black farmer who took advantage of a mentally unstable white woman. You do what you gotta do, Mr. Sutton. So will I. Marcus hung up. His hands were shaking worse than before, but his mind was clear. He'd made his choice. Whatever came next, at least it would be honest. Emma appeared at the bottom of the stairs. I heard. Yeah. You told my father no. I did. Why? Because some things can't be sold at any price. Marcus stood up. Now come on. Those chickens are going to revolt if we don't feed them soon. They worked in silence that morning. Fed chickens collected eggs, weeded the garden. Emma's phone buzzed constantly. She turned it off after the 20th call. At noon, a car pulled up. Not a black SUV this time. A silver Mercedes. 2 people got out. A man in an expensive suit. A woman carrying a briefcase. Mr. Thompson. The man approached. I'm Richard Walsh, attorney for Sutton Technologies. This is Dr. Sarah Chen, a licensed psychiatrist. We need to speak with Emma Sutton regarding her mental health status. Marcus stepped between them and the house. Emma's not talking to anyone without her own lawyer present. Mr. Thompson, we're here to help. You're here to declare her mentally unfit so her father can force her back to Boston. I watch TV. I know how this works. Dr. Chen stepped forward. Mr. Thompson, I've been Emma's therapist for 3 years. I know her medical history. I know her struggles. And I'm genuinely concerned that she's experiencing a dissociative episode that requires professional intervention. She seems pretty present to me. Dissociation can be subtle. The patient often doesn't realize they're in crisis. Dr. Chen's voice was gentle but firm. Emma left behind her medication, her support system, her routine. These are classic warning signs of an escalating mental health emergency. Or they're signs of someone finally taking control of their life. Mr. Thompson, with respect, you're not qualified to make that assessment. Neither are you, not without talking to her, and she's not talking to you without representation. The lawyer Walsh pulled out papers. We have a court order for a psychiatric evaluation, issued this morning by a judge in Boston. It requires Emma Sutton to submit to examination by a qualified professional within 24 hours. A Boston judge has no jurisdiction in Mississippi. Actually, we've filed for recognition of the order in Yazoo County. Judge Morrison signed off at 9 a.m. Walsh handed Marcus the documents. This is legal, Mr. Thompson. If Emma doesn't comply voluntarily, we're authorized to involve local law enforcement. Marcus looked at the papers. They looked official. They looked real. I need to make a call, he said. He pulled out his phone, dialed a number he hadn't called in years. Keisha, it's Marcus. I need help. Legal help. Right now. 20 minutes later, Emma sat at the kitchen table across from Dr. Chen, while Walsh and Marcus's ex-wife, Keisha, now a paralegal at a Memphis law firm, argued over the validity of the court order in the front yard. Emma. Dr. Chen's voice was soft. I'm not here to force you to do anything. I just want to make sure you're okay. I'm fine. Are you? Because 3 days ago you shot your car, abandoned your belongings, and disappeared without telling anyone where you were going. That doesn't sound fine. It sounds like someone making a choice. Or someone in crisis. Dr. Chen leaned forward. Emma, I know you've struggled with anxiety, with depression, with feeling trapped, and I know your father can be, she paused, controlling. But running away isn't the answer. What is the answer? Marrying Jeremy, living in Boston, spending the rest of my life as my father's puppet. The answer is processing your feelings in a healthy way, working through your trauma, building a support system that helps you make clear, rational decisions. I am making clear, rational decisions. Are you? Or are you reacting to fear? Dr. Chen pulled out a prescription bottle. You left without your medication. You've missed 4 doses. That alone could be triggering anxiety, paranoia, impulsive behavior. Emma stared at the bottle. I don't need those pills. I never did. Your prescription history suggests otherwise. My prescription history is my father's doctor prescribing me drugs to make me more compliant, more manageable, less emotional. Emma's voice rose. You want to know why I'm anxious, Dr. Chen? Why I'm depressed? Because I've spent 20 years being told I'm broken when really I was just trapped. Emma. No, you don't get to come here to this place where I finally feel like I can breathe and tell me I'm having a mental health crisis. The crisis was Boston. The crisis was the life my father built around me like a prison. This, Emma gestured around the kitchen. This is me getting healthy. Dr. Chen was quiet for a moment. Then she said, The Emma I know has a master's degree from MIT, speaks 4 languages, runs half marathons. That Emma didn't shoot her own car and hide on a farm. That Emma was suffocating. This Emma is learning to live. By cooking meals and feeding chickens. By choosing, every day, every moment. Choosing what I do, where I go, who I am. That's not a crisis, Dr. Chen. That's recovery. Outside, voices rose. Keisha's voice, sharp and angry, cutting through Walsh's legal jargon. This order is garbage and you know it. A Boston judge declaring a Mississippi resident mentally unfit without examination, without local counsel, without due process. Judge Morrison's gonna throw this out the second I file an emergency motion. Miss Thompson. It's Miss Johnson now. And I may just be a paralegal, but I know enough to recognize a railroad job when I see one. You're trying to force a competent adult into a psychiatric hold based on what she left Boston. She made a loan. She's staying with a friend. None of that's illegal or evidence of incompetence. She shot a firearm in public. At her own vehicle, on a deserted road, no injuries, no property damage except to her own car. That's not a crime in Mississippi, Mr. Walsh. That's target practice. Marcus couldn't help smiling. Keisha had always been fierce. It's what he'd loved about her back when love was enough. Walsh's face reddened. We're trying to help Emma before she does something truly dangerous. You're trying to help Robert Sutton maintain control over his daughter's trust fund. Don't insult my intelligence. Keisha pulled out her phone. I'm calling Judge Morrison right now. We'll see how fast this order gets dissolved. Walsh and Dr. Chen left 10 minutes later, their court order in tatters, their psychiatric evaluation refused. Emma watched from the window as they drove away. Your ex-wife is terrifying, she said. Yep. Marcus handed her a glass of water. She's also expensive. That consultation's gonna cost me. I'll pay. No. This one's on me. He sat down beside her. Emma, they're not gonna stop. Your father's gonna keep sending lawyers, doctors, whoever he thinks will work. I know. And in 53 hours, your trust fund disappears. When that happens, you'll have nothing. No safety net. No backup plan. No. I know, Emma said again. Marcus, I know what I'm losing. Every time I look at my phone, every time I see another call from my father, I know exactly what I'm giving up. $20 million. My career, my connections, everything. Then why are you still here? Emma was quiet for a long moment. When my mother was dying, she made me promise something. She said, Emma, don't spend your life living for other people. Don't let fear make your choices. Be brave enough to want what you want, even if it costs you everything. Emma wiped her eyes. I was 15. I didn't understand what she meant, but I do now. She knew. She knew my father would try to control me, would use money, fear, obligation. She was trying to tell me to choose myself, even if it hurt. She sounds like she was a wise woman. She was, and I'm tired of disappointing her. Emma stood up. So yeah, in 53 hours I lose everything. But maybe that's what I need to lose. Maybe I need to prove to myself that I can survive without it, that I'm more than my father's money. And if you can't survive without it, then I'll figure it out, the way everyone else does. Emma smiled. Now I believe you promised to teach me how to drive a tractor today. You sure tractors harder than chickens. Good. I'm tired of easy. They spent the afternoon in the fields. Marcus taught Emma how to work the clutch, how to feel the tractor's power, how to drive straight rows without wandering. She stalled out 6 times, nearly hit the fence twice, and spent 20 minutes stuck in a ditch, but she didn't quit. This is impossible, she said, finally getting the tractor back to the barn. Nah, just difficult. There's a difference. What's the difference? Impossible means you can't do it. Difficult means you haven't done it yet. Marcus climbed down from the tractor. You're gonna try again tomorrow. And the next day. And the day after that. Until it's not difficult anymore. Why, I'm never gonna be a farmer. Maybe not. But you're gonna be someone who doesn't quit when things get hard. That's worth more than farming. That night they made dinner together. Emma's biscuits were almost perfect. Her chicken was golden and crispy. She'd stopped apologizing every time something went wrong and started just fixing it. Progress. After dinner, Emma's phone rang. She looked at the screen, her face going pale. It's Jeremy, she said. The man I'm supposed to marry. You gonna answer? Emma stared at the phone for 3 more rings. Then she answered. Hello, Jeremy. Marcus stepped outside to give her privacy, but he could hear her voice through the screen door. No, I'm not having a breakdown. Yes, I know about the court order. Jeremy, listen to me. A pause. No, I don't need you to rescue me. I need you to leave me alone. Another pause longer. Because I don't love you. I don't even like you. And I'm not going to spend the rest of my life pretending otherwise, just because our fathers want a merger. Marcus heard something break in Emma's voice. You're a good person, Jeremy. You deserve someone who actually wants to marry you. But that's not me. It's never been me. Silence. I'm sorry your father's upset. I'm sorry my father's upset. But I'm not sorry about my choice. Goodbye, Jeremy. She ended the call. Marcus gave her 5 minutes, then went back inside. Emma was sitting at the table, crying, her phone face down in front of her. You okay? He asked. No, but I will be. She wiped her eyes. Jeremy said he'd give me the money, the 20 million. Said he doesn't want me to lose everything because of my father's control issues. That's generous. It's pity and obligation. And him being a fundamentally decent person stuck in the same system I am. Emma picked up her phone, turned it over. I told him no. Said I had to do this on my own. Even though it would solve all your problems, it would solve my money problems, but it wouldn't solve me. Emma looked up at him. Does that make sense? More sense than you'd think. Marcus sat down across from her. You got 52 hours left. You gonna make it? I don't know. Ask me in 52 hours. Fair enough. He stood up. Now come on. I'm teaching you to make cornbread from scratch. No recipe, just feel. Marcus, I just turned down $20 million and ended my engagement. Can we skip the cooking lesson? Nope. Because feeling dough teach you more about yourself than any amount of money ever will. Emma stared at him. Then she laughed, the sound breaking through her tears like sun through clouds. You're insane. So I've been told. Now wash your hands. We're making cornbread. They cooked until midnight. Emma's cornbread came out perfect. Golden, crumbly, exactly right. She ate 3 pieces, covering each one with butter and honey, tasting her own work, her own choice, her own life. And outside, the clock kept ticking. 51 hours. 50 hours. 49. Counting down to freedom, or disaster. Nobody knew which yet. Not even Emma. The reporter showed up at dawn 24 hours before Emma's trust fund disappeared forever. Marcus heard the car door slam and looked out to see a woman in her 40s, camera crew behind her microphone, all ready in hand. Local news van, Channel 7 Jackson. Mr. Thompson. She was walking toward the porch before he could stop her. Diane Foster, Channel 7 News. We'd love to talk to you about Emma Sutton. Is it true she's been living here for the past week? No comment. Marcus stepped outside, pulled the door shut behind him. And you're on private property. We're just looking for her side of the story. Robert Sutton has made some serious allegations. That his daughter is mentally unstable, that she's being manipulated. I said no comment. Is she inside right now? Can we speak with her? You can leave. That's what you can do. The cameraman was already filming. Marcus could see the red light blinking. Mr. Thompson, people are calling you a hero, a simple farmer who helped a woman in distress. Others are saying you're taking advantage of a vulnerable heiress. Which is it? I'm saying get off my property before I call the sheriff. We spoke with your neighbor, Tom Henderson. He said Emma Sutton loaned you $47,000 just days after meeting you. Some people might call that suspicious timing. Marcus took a step forward. The cameraman stepped back. Tom should mind his own business. So should you. The public has a right to know. The public has a right to leave people alone. Marcus pulled out his phone. I'm calling Sheriff Hayes now. You got about 3 minutes before he gets here, and Travis doesn't like reporters on private land without permission. Diane Foster held up her hands. All right, we're going. But Mr. Thompson, this story isn't going away. Robert Sutton is giving interviews. Jeremy Ashford released a statement. Emma's therapist spoke to the press. The only person not talking is Emma herself. Don't you think people deserve to hear her voice? I think Emma deserves privacy. Now leave. They left, but Marcus knew they'd be back. And they wouldn't be the last. Inside, Emma sat at the kitchen table, her laptop open, her face pale. I'm trending on Twitter, she said quietly. Number 3 in the country. #FreeEmma versus #SaveEmma. People I've never met are arguing about whether I'm brave or crazy. Marcus looked over her shoulder. The screen was full of posts, thousands of them, everyone with an opinion about Emma's life. Some people are saying you're kidnapping me. Emma continued scrolling. That you're holding me hostage for ransom. Others are saying I'm a spoiled rich girl playing poor for attention. And my father... She clicked on a video. My father gave an interview to Good Morning America. She pressed play. Robert Sutton sat in an expensive suit, his face perfectly composed, his voice measured and sad. Emma is my only child, he said to the interviewer. Since her mother died, she struggled. Depression, anxiety, difficulty maintaining relationships. I've done everything I can to help her. The best doctors, the best care. And yes, I arranged her engagement to Jeremy Ashford, because Jeremy understands her needs, is patient with her episodes, and comes from a family equipped to support someone with her challenges. Some people are saying you're trying to control her, the interviewer said. I'm trying to protect her. From herself if necessary. Robert's voice broke slightly. 3 weeks ago, Emma stopped taking her medication, started talking about running away, starting over. Her therapist warned me she was becoming unstable, and then she disappeared. Shot her car, abandoned her belongings, and is now staying with a man she met on the side of the road. He looked directly at the camera. If you're watching this, sweetheart, please come home. We can get you help. Real help. You don't have to do this alone. Emma closed the laptop. He's good, she said. Concerned father worried about his mentally ill daughter. He's positioned himself perfectly. If I stay, I'm crazy. If I go back, he wins. What do you want to do? I want to set the laptop on fire and never look at social media again. Emma pushed away from the table. But that won't solve anything. Then what will? I don't know, that's the problem. I thought running away would give me clarity. Instead, it's given me a media circus and 23 hours until I'm broke. She laughed, but it sounded hollow. Maybe my father's right. Maybe I am having a breakdown. You're not. How do you know you're not a psychiatrist? I know because crazy people don't question whether they're crazy. They don't learn to make biscuits and drive tractors and work through their fear. They just run. Marcus sat down across from her. You're not running, Emma. You're standing still for the first time in your life. That's not crazy. That's brave. Brave would be calling a press conference, telling my side, facing my father directly instead of hiding on your farm. Who says you're hiding? Emma met his eyes. Aren't I? Marcus was quiet for a moment. Then he stood up. Come on. Where? You'll see. He drove her to town to the Yazoo County Courthouse. Saturday morning, the square was busy with farmers, market vendors, families, shopping, people living their normal lives. Why are we here? Emma asked. Because you need to see something. Marcus parked the truck, led her to the steps of the courthouse. My granddaddy was arrested here in 1963, protesting segregation. They took him in through those doors, beat him in a cell, downstairs charged him with disturbing the peace. He spent 3 days in jail. Marcus. He could have stayed quiet, could have accepted things the way they were. But he stood on these steps with 50 other black farmers and demanded to be treated like human beings. And you know what happened. What? They spit on him, called him every name you can imagine, threatened to burn his farm, kill his family. The newspaper ran an editorial calling him an agitator and a troublemaker. Half the white people in the county refused to do business with him. Marcus looked at the courthouse. But he didn't back down, didn't hide, didn't apologize for standing up for what was right. What are you saying? I'm saying hiding doesn't keep you safe, it just keeps you small. Marcus turned to her. You want clarity. Stop hiding. Tell your story. Let people see you really see you and trust that the truth is stronger than your father's version of it. What if they don't believe me? Some won't. Some will think you're crazy, spoiled, attention-seeking everything your father said. But some will see the truth. And Emma. The ones who see the truth are the only ones who matter. Emma looked at the courthouse steps, at the town square, at people going about their lives. Then she pulled out her phone. Okay, she said. Okay, I'll do it. Do what? Tell my story. All of it. No filters, no lawyers, no PR team, just me. She opened her phone, went to her social media. I'm going live, right now, right here. Emma, are you sure? No, but I'm doing it anyway. She hit the button. Here goes nothing. The live video started. Within seconds, viewers started joining. Hundreds, then thousands, then tens of thousands. Emma took a deep breath. Hi, I'm Emma Sutton. You don't know me, but you probably know my father, Robert Sutton. And if you've been following the news, you know he's worried about me. Says I'm having a mental health crisis. Says I'm unstable, unmedicated, making poor decisions. She paused. He's right about one thing. I did stop taking my medication. Want to know why? Because I don't need it. I never did. My father's doctor prescribed me anti-anxiety medication when I was 16, right after my mother died. Said I was too emotional, too difficult. The pills made me compliant, manageable, quiet. And for 20 years I took them because everyone told me I needed them. My father, my doctors, my therapist. Everyone except me. The viewer count climbed past 50,000. 3 weeks ago, I found out my father had been monitoring my phone, my email, my location for years. Every text I sent, every call I made, every place I went, he knew about it. When I confronted him, he said it was for my own good, that I needed protection from people who might take advantage of me. But really, he needed protection from me, making choices he couldn't control. Emma's voice steadied. So, yeah, I ran. Got in my car, drove until I couldn't drive anymore, and ended up on a county road in Mississippi with a broken car and no plan. And then I met Marcus Thompson, a farmer who helped me without asking for anything in return, who taught me to cook and work and stand on my own feet, who loaned me space to figure out who I am when I'm not being Robert Sutton's daughter. Emma. Marcus tried to interrupt, but she shook her head. People are saying Marcus is taking advantage of me, that I'm being manipulated. But here's the truth. I loaned Marcus money to save his farm because I wanted to, because helping him made me feel useful for the first time in years. Not as an heiress, not as a business asset, but as a person who could make a real difference in someone's life. She looked at Marcus. He's not taking advantage of me. He's showing me what it means to live with integrity, to work hard, to choose yourself even when it costs everything. The viewer count hit 100,000. In 23 hours, my trust fund disappears. My father set it up that way. If I don't marry Jeremy Ashford, if I don't come home, if I don't submit to his control, I lose $20 million, and you know what, I'm going to let it go. Because money isn't worth my soul. It's not worth living a lie. It's not worth spending the rest of my life as someone else's puppet. Emma's hands were shaking, but her voice didn't waver. My mother died when I was 15. The last thing she told me was to be brave, to choose myself, to not let fear make my decisions. I'm 20 years late, Mom, but I'm finally listening. Tears ran down her face. So, Dad, if you're watching, I love you. I know you think you're protecting me, but you're not. You're suffocating me, and I can't breathe anymore. I need you to let me go. Let me make my own mistakes, live my own life, be my own person. Even if that means I fail. Even if that means I lose everything. Because at least it'll be my failure. My life. My choice. She wiped her eyes. To everyone else watching, I'm not asking for your support or your sympathy. I'm just asking you to understand that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away from everything you know. Sometimes freedom costs everything, and sometimes that's exactly what it's worth. Emma ended the video. Her phone immediately exploded with notifications. Comments, shares, news outlets requesting interviews. The video had been viewed 200,000 times in 5 minutes. Did I just make everything worse? Emma asked. I don't know, Marcus said honestly. But you told the truth. That's got to count for something. Emma's phone rang. Unknown number. She answered. Miss Sutton, this is Amanda Chen from the New York Times. We'd love to do a full interview. Emma hung up. It rang again. CNN, then NBC, then BBC. Turn it off, Marcus said. You said what you needed to say. Let them figure out the rest. Emma powered down her phone. For a moment they stood on the courthouse steps in silence. Then someone started clapping. They turned. A woman in her 60s, black, wearing a church dress, was applauding. Then another person joined in, and another. Within seconds, a small crowd had gathered, people clapping, some crying. You did good, honey, the older woman said. Real good. Takes courage to stand up to family like that. Thank you, Emma whispered. My daughter went through something similar, another woman said. Not with money, but with control. Her husband tried to make all her decisions. Took her years to leave. Watching you just now, she stopped, overcome. You're helping more people than you know. But not everyone was supportive. A man in a MAGA hat shouted from across the street, Go back to Boston. We don't want your liberal drama here. She should honor her father, another voice called. Ungrateful rich girl. Marcus stepped in front of Emma. Time to go. They made it back to the truck as more people gathered. Some supportive, some angry. Everyone with an opinion. Marcus drove away quickly, checking the rearview mirror constantly. That was intense, Emma said. Yeah. Do you think I did the right thing? I think you did the honest thing. That's all anyone can do. Back at the farm, Marcus's phone was ringing. Keisha. Have you lost your damn mind? She said when he answered. Emma just went viral. Every news outlet in the country is trying to find you. I've already had 3 reporters call me asking about your relationship with her. We don't have a relationship. I'm helping her. Marcus, I saw that video, the way she looked at you when she talked about you. That's not just gratitude. Keisha's voice softened. I'm not judging, but you need to be careful. This is getting complicated. It's been complicated since day one. No, this is different. Before it was private. Now it's public. Now everyone's watching, everyone's got opinions, and everyone's waiting to see what happens next. Keisha paused. David called me. He saw the video. He's asking questions. Marcus's stomach dropped. What did you tell him? That you're helping someone who needs help, same as you've always done. But Marcus? He's 16. He's seeing his father on the news with a white woman, seeing people call you everything from a hero to a predator. You need to talk to him, soon. I will. And Marcus, whatever you're feeling for Emma, I'm not feeling anything. I'm just, don't lie to me. I was married to you for 15 years. I know your voice when you care about someone. Keisha's tone wasn't angry, just sad. Just be careful, for your sake and hers. After the call ended, Marcus found Emma in the garden pulling weeds with her bandaged hand, her face streaked with dirt and tears. My father's lawyers called, she said without looking up. They're filing an emergency injunction, trying to freeze my trust fund access until I undergo psychiatric evaluation. They're using my video as evidence of unstable behavior. Can they do that? They can try. Keisha's fighting it, but... Emma sat back on her heels. Marcus, I'm making everything worse for you. The reporters, the attention, the legal battles. You should ask me to leave. Is that what you want? I want to stop dragging you into my mess. Too late for that. I'm already in it. Marcus knelt beside her in the dirt. Emma, when my marriage fell apart, I thought it was because I failed. Because I couldn't give Keisha what she needed. Because I chose this farm over her happiness. Took me years to realize I didn't fail. We just wanted different things, and that's okay. What's your point? My point is, people are gonna think what they think. About you, about me, about us. We can't control that. We can only control what we know is true. He pulled a weed, tossed it aside. And the truth is, you helped me save my farm. I helped you find your courage. That's not a mess. That's mutual aid. That's what people are supposed to do for each other. Even when it costs them everything. Especially then. Emma looked at him for a long moment. Then she said something that changed everything. I think I'm falling in love with you. Marcus froze. I know I shouldn't be. Emma continued quickly. I know the timing's terrible, and the situation's impossible, and I'm probably just transferring my gratitude into feelings that aren't real. But Marcus, when I'm with you, I feel seen. Really seen. Not as an asset or a problem or a diagnosis. Just as me. She wiped her eyes. And I don't know what to do with that. Marcus sat back in the dirt, his mind racing. Emma, you don't have to say anything. I just needed you to know, because in 22 hours I lose everything. And if I'm going to be honest about the rest of my life, I need to be honest about this too. Emma, listen to me. Marcus turned to face her fully. You're in crisis. You're running from your father, fighting for your freedom, dealing with lawyers and reporters, and your entire life falling apart. That's not the time to figure out feelings. I know. And I'm 45 years old, divorced, struggling farmer. I got nothing to offer you except work and worry, and a farm that's barely surviving. I know that too. Then you know we can't. Marcus stopped. What are you really asking here? I'm asking if you feel it too. This thing between us. Or if I'm alone in it. Marcus was quiet for a long time. Then he said, I feel something, but I don't know what it is. Could be connection. Could be gratitude. Could be two lonely people finding comfort in each other during a hard time. He met her eyes. Or it could be the start of something real. But Emma, we can't know that now. Not in the middle of all this chaos. So what do? We focus on getting you through the next 22 hours. Getting you free from your father's control. Getting you stable and safe and sure of who you are. Marcus stood up, offered his hand. And then if we still feel this thing, we can figure out what it means. Emma took his hand, let him pull her up. And if we don't, then we gave each other exactly what we needed when we needed it. That's enough. Is it? Has to be. They went inside, washed their hands, started making dinner. But everything felt different now. Every glance carried weight. Every accidental touch lasted too long. The air between them was charged with possibility and fear and questions neither of them could answer yet. Emma's phone, powered back on, buzzed constantly. More interview requests, more comments, more people with opinions about her life, and one text from a number she didn't recognize. Emma, this is your Aunt Susan, your mother's sister. I saw your video. I'm in Jackson. Can I come see you? I have something you need to know about your mother's trust. Something your father never told you. Emma showed Marcus the text. Your mother had a sister. Yeah. They had a falling out before Mom died. Something about the wedding about my father. I haven't seen Susan in 20 years. Emma stared at the message. Should I respond? That's your call. What if it's a trick? What if my father sent her to? Then you'll figure it out. But Emma, if she has information about your trust, about your mother's wishes, don't you want to know? Emma typed a response. I'm in Yazoo County. I'll text you the address. Susan Chen arrived 3 hours later, driving a Honda Civic with Tennessee plates. She was in her 60s, shorter than Emma remembered, her black hair streaked with gray. but her eyes were the same as Emma's mother, kind and fierce all at once. "Emma." Susan got out of the car slowly. "You look so much like Margaret." "Aunt Susan?" Emma stepped forward, unsure. "Thank you for coming." "Thank you for finally standing up to that bastard you call a father." Susan pulled Emma into a hug. "Your mother would be so proud." They went inside. Susan shook Marcus's hand firmly. "Marcus Thompson, I've heard about you, from the news and from my niece's phone call." She smiled. "Thank you for protecting her." "I'm just providing space. Emma's protecting herself." "Modest and honest. I see why she likes you." Susan sat at the kitchen table, pulled out a folder. "Emma, what do you know about your mother's will?" "That she left everything in trust until I'm 40 or married. That my father controls it. That if I don't marry Jeremy, I lose it." "That's what your father told you. It's not the whole truth." Susan opened the folder. "Your mother came to me 3 months before she died. She was terrified. Said she'd made a mistake putting Robert in control of the trust. Said he was changing, becoming controlling, possessive. She wanted to modify the will, but she was too sick, too weak. So she gave me this." Susan pulled out a letter yellowed with age, sealed in plastic. "It's from your mother. To you. She made me promise to give it to you if you ever tried to leave your father. If you ever chose freedom over his money." Susan handed Emma the letter. She knew. Even dying, she knew what he'd become. Emma's hands shook as she took the letter. "There's more," Susan said. "Your mother didn't just leave you money. She left you 3 properties. In your name alone, not in trust. They've been generating rental income for 20 years. Income your father has been collecting and hiding from you." "How much?" "About $400,000. Plus the properties themselves worth roughly $2 million. Susan pulled out more documents. "Your mother did this specifically so you'd have options. So if you ever needed to escape, you'd have resources he couldn't control." Emma stared at the papers, tears streaming down her face. "My mother, she planned for this. She loved you more than anything, and she was terrified of leaving you alone with Robert. This was her way of protecting you from beyond the grave." Susan squeezed Emma's hand. "You don't need his 20 million, Emma. You never did. Your mother made sure of that." Marcus excused himself, giving them privacy. He went outside, stood on the porch, and watched the sun set over his fields. 21 hours until Emma's deadline. But maybe the deadline didn't matter anymore. Maybe Emma's mother had given her freedom years ago. Had just been waiting for Emma to be brave enough to claim it. Inside, he could hear Emma crying. Susan comforting her 2 women, honoring the memory of a third who'd loved her daughter enough to plan for the worst. Marcus thought about his own mother, about her voice telling him to help people who needed it. Both their mothers had known, had understood, had prepared their children for battles they wouldn't live to see. And now here they were, Emma and Marcus. 2 people trying to honor the dead by living fully. Trying to be brave enough to want what they wanted. Even if it cost everything. Even if no one understood. Even if tomorrow brought disaster. Tonight they had this. Truth, courage, and the fierce love of mothers who'd known exactly what they were doing. That had to be enough. It had to be. Emma read her mother's letter 3 times before she could speak. The handwriting was shaky, weakened by chemotherapy, but the words were crystal clear. Margaret Chen had known exactly what she was doing when she'd hidden those properties, saved that money, prepared for the day her daughter would need to escape. "She wrote this 2 weeks before she died," Emma whispered. "She was in so much pain she could barely hold a pen, and she was thinking about me. About protecting me from him." Susan wiped her own eyes. "Your mother loved you fiercely, and she knew Robert better than he ever realized. She saw how he controlled every detail of their life together, how he monitored her movements, managed her friendships. She thought marriage would change him. It didn't. It made him worse. Why didn't you tell me this before? 20 years, Aunt Susan. 20 years I could have... Your mother made me promise to wait, She said if you came to me before you were ready, before you'd hit bottom, and decided to fight, the information wouldn't help. It would just be more pressure, more expectation. Susan reached across the table. She wanted you to choose freedom first, then find out you had the means to keep it. Marcus came back inside carrying firewood neither of them needed, an excuse to check on Emma without intruding. She looked up at him, her face transformed. "I have money," she said. "My mother left me properties, income, enough to live on. I don't need my father's trust fund." That's good, Emma. That's real good. Good, Marcus, it's everything. It means I can stay. I can fight. I can... She stopped, stood up, started pacing. "I can call a press conference, tell everyone the truth about what my father's been hiding. I can hire lawyers, real lawyers, and fight for full control of my mother's estate. I can..." "You can breathe," Susan said gently. "First you breathe, then you plan. Your mother spent 20 years protecting you. Don't waste it by rushing." But Emma was already on her phone calling Keisha. "I need you to verify something. My aunt has documents showing properties in my name, income my father's been collecting. Can you check county records? Confirm ownership." Marcus heard Keisha's voice through the speaker, cautious but intrigued. "Give me the property addresses. I'll run them tonight." After Emma rattled off the information and ended the call, Susan pulled out more papers. "There's something else. Your mother left you a video, recorded 3 days before she died. I've kept it safe all these years." Susan handed Emma a USB drive. "She wanted you to hear her voice, her real wishes, not filtered through your father's version of who she was." Emma held the drive like it might shatter. "You've had this for 20 years. Your mother made me promise not to give it to you until you were ready to hear it, until you'd chosen yourself." Susan stood up. "I'm staying at the Holiday Inn in town. Room 247. When you've watched it, if you need to talk, call me, day or night." After Susan left, Emma and Marcus sat on the couch, her laptop between them, the USB drive still in Emma's hand. "Do you want to watch it alone?" Marcus asked. "No. Emma's voice cracked. "I don't think I can do this alone." She inserted the drive, opened the file. The video was grainy, recorded on a phone. Margaret Chen appeared on screen, sitting in a hospital bed, oxygen tubes in her nose, her hair gone from chemo. But her eyes were alert, focused, fierce. "Emma, sweetheart, if you're watching this, it means you finally found the courage to leave your father. I'm so proud of you." Emma made a sound between a sob and a laugh. "I know you're scared," Margaret continued. "I know you think you can't survive without his money, his support, his approval. But baby, you're stronger than you know. You're my daughter. You have my stubbornness and my father's fire, and something all your own that I've always admired. Your capacity to love even when it costs you everything." Margaret coughed, took a moment to recover. "I made mistakes, Emma. I thought marrying your father would give you security, stability, a good life. I didn't see how his need to control would extend to you, how his fear of losing things would make him hold tighter and tighter until you couldn't breathe. By the time I understood, I was too sick to fix it. So I did what I could. I hid money. I bought properties in your name. I made sure you'd have options." She leaned closer to the camera. "But Emma, listen to me carefully. Money isn't freedom. Freedom is choosing yourself even when it's hard. Even when everyone tells you you're wrong. Even when you lose everything. Your grandmother escaped China during the famine with nothing but the clothes on her back. She built a life from scratch in a country where she didn't speak the language. You come from survivors, baby. You come from women who chose life over safety every single time." Margaret's eyes filled with tears. "I'm sorry I won't be there to see the woman you become. I'm sorry I can't protect you from your father's control, from the world's judgment, from all the hard things you'll face. But I'm not sorry for the choices you'll make. Whatever they are, they'll be yours, and that's more valuable than any trust fund." She reached toward the camera as if she could touch Emma through the screen. I love you, my brave girl. Now go live. Really live. Make mistakes, fall down, get back up. Love who you love. Do work that matters. Build a life that's yours and yours alone. And Emma, when it gets hard, when you doubt yourself, remember this. Your mother believed in you, completely, forever. Now, believe in yourself. The video ended. Emma sat, frozen, tears streaming down her face. Marcus put his arm around her shoulders, and she collapsed against him, sobbing so hard her whole body shook. She knew. Emma gasped between sobs. She knew I'd need this. She knew everything. Mothers usually do. I wasted 20 years. 20 years living his life instead of mine. 20 years she gave me the tools to escape, and I was too scared to use them. You weren't ready yet. Your mama said that herself. You had to choose first. Marcus held her while she cried. And now you have. They sat like that for a long time, the laptop screen gone dark, the weight of Margaret Chen's love filling the room. Finally, Emma sat up, wiped her eyes. I need to call my father. You sure? He needs to know I found out. About the properties, the money, everything he's been hiding. Emma picked up her phone. And he needs to hear it from me. She dialed. Robert Sutton answered on the first ring. Emma, please tell me you've come to your senses. I have. Just not the way you hoped. Emma's voice was steady. I know about the properties, Dad. The ones Mom left me. The ones you've been collecting rent on for 20 years. Silence. I know you've been stealing from me, hiding my mother's wishes, using her trust as a weapon to control me. Emma, you don't understand. No, you don't understand. I have lawyers now, real ones, not your people, and they're filing paperwork tomorrow morning to freeze all rental income, transfer full ownership to me, and investigate every penny you've taken. Emma stood up, started pacing. You have two choices. You can fight me, which will make everything public, including your financial manipulation of a dead woman's estate. Or you can walk away. Dissolve the trust fund restrictions, give me full control of Mom's money, and let me live my life. Emma, I did this to protect you. You did this to control me. There's a difference, and it ends now. If you do this, if you fight me publicly, it will destroy you. The media will tear you apart. Your reputation, your career, everything. I don't care, because unlike you, I don't measure my worth by what other people think. Emma's voice rose. Mom tried to tell me, in that video she made, the one Aunt Susan kept for me. Mom knew you'd use money to trap me. She knew you'd twist her death into a weapon, and she made sure I'd have a way out. Video? What video? The one where she tells me the truth about you, about how you controlled her, monitored her, made her feel like a prisoner in her own marriage. Emma's hands were shaking, but her voice didn't waver. She loved you, Dad, but she was terrified of leaving me alone with you. Terrified enough to hide money, buy properties in secret, and record her dying wishes on a phone because she couldn't trust you to honor them. That's not I never... 20 years you've been cashing checks from properties that aren't yours. 20 years you've been using Mom's money to control me. That's not protection, Dad. That's theft. Robert's voice went cold. If you pursue this, I will destroy Marcus Thompson. I'll have him audited, investigated, charged with exploitation of a vulnerable adult. I'll make sure he loses that farm and everything else he has. Go ahead, Emma said. Marcus has nothing to hide. Can you say the same? Emma, I'm done, Dad. Done with your threats, your manipulation, your version of love that feels like suffocation. Mom left me a way out and I'm taking it. You can either accept that and maintain some dignity, or you can fight me and lose everything. Your choice. She hung up. Her phone immediately rang again. She declined the call. It rang again. She turned it off. That was... Marcus didn't know what to say. That was intense. That was 20 years overdue. Emma sat down, her hands still shaking. He's going to fight. He's going to come after you, after the farm, after everything. Let him come. Marcus, you don't know what he's capable of, the resources he has, the people he can buy. And you don't know what I'm capable of. What this community's capable of when someone tries to bully one of their own. Marcus pulled out his own phone. I'm calling Tom. Your neighbor, the one who told you I was bad news. Yeah, because Tom's stubborn and protective and knows every farmer in 3 counties. If your father's coming after me, I want people who know me, really know me, ready to speak up. Tom answered on the 3rd ring, his voice wary. Marcus. Tom. I need your help. With what? With telling the truth about me when Robert Sutton's lawyers come asking questions. Tom was quiet for a moment. Then he said, I saw that girl's video, the one she made at the courthouse, and I saw the things people were saying about you online, about her using you, or you using her, or whatever nonsense folks are inventing. And I remembered something your daddy told me once. Said Marcus sees people who need help and helps them, no questions, no expectation of return. Said you got your mama's heart and your granddaddy's spine. Tom's voice softened. I was wrong, Marcus. About Emma, about you, about everything. I let fear make me stupid. So yeah, you need someone to vouch for you. I'll do it. And I'll make sure everyone else does too. After Marcus hung up, Emma looked at him with something close to wonder. You have people. Real people who'll stand up for you. You have people too. Your aunt, your mother's memory people who saw your video and understood. You're not alone, Emma. You just forgot what community feels like. Emma's laptop chimed. Email from Keisha. Properties confirmed. All 3 in Emma Sutton's name, purchased 2004, continuously rented since 2005. Total rental income collected approximately $437,000. Money deposited into an account controlled by Robert Sutton as trustee. Prima facie evidence of misappropriation of funds. We can file charges tomorrow. Emma read the email twice. Then she looked at Marcus. It's real. All of it. My mother really did save me. Yeah, she did. So, what do I do now? File charges. Go public. Burn everything down. Marcus thought about his great-grandfather, about the choices that man had made when faced with injustice, about standing up not because it was easy, but because it was right. You do what your mama wanted. You live. You choose yourself. You build a life that's yours. He met Emma's eyes. And Emma, whether that life includes this farm, includes me, includes Mississippi or Boston, or anywhere else, that's your call. No pressure. No expectation, just choice. What if I choose wrong? Then you choose again. That's the gift your mama gave you, not just money, the right to keep choosing until you get it right. Emma stood up, walked to the window. Outside, the farm was quiet, peaceful, stars beginning to appear in the darkening sky. I want to stay, she said quietly. At least for a while. I want to learn more about farming, about this place, about who I am when I'm not Robert Sutton's daughter. Would that be okay? More than okay. Even though She checked her phone. 8 hours, my trust fund disappears, and my father will probably sue me, and the media will have a field day, and everything will get messy. Especially then. Emma turned to face him. And us. This thing between us that we're not talking about. We keep not talking about it until you're stable enough to know what it really is. Marcus moved to stand beside her. Emma, you said you're falling in love with me. Maybe you are. Maybe it's real. But you're also in crisis, rebuilding your life, figuring out who you are. That's not the time to make decisions about relationships. So we just ignore it. We acknowledge it. We respect it, and we give it time. Marcus turned her to face him. Because if this is real, if it's more than gratitude and crisis, and 2 lonely people finding each other, it'll still be there in 6 months, a year, 5 years. Real love doesn't have a deadline. And if it does have a deadline, If we wait and it fades and we missed our chance, then it wasn't real to begin with. Emma studied his face for a long moment. Then she nodded. Okay. We wait. We work. We see what happens. Deal. But Marcus, when the time's right, when I'm ready, when we both know what this is, I'm not letting you walk away because you think I deserve better. You're the best man I've ever met. That's not crisis talking. That's truth. Marcus didn't know what to say to that, so he just nodded and turned back to the window, watching his land fade into darkness. The next morning, Marcus woke to the sound of trucks. Multiple trucks. He looked out to see vehicles lining his driveway. Farmers mostly. Tom's truck in front. Behind it, vehicles Marcus recognized from church, from the farmer's market, from town. Neighbors. Community. He went outside. Tom climbed out of his truck, followed by at least 30 other people. "Morning, Marcus," Tom said. "Heard you might be getting some visitors today. Lawyers, reporters, maybe some of Robert Sutton's people. Figured you could use some witnesses. People who know you can vouch for you, make sure nobody tries anything funny." "Tom, you don't have to." "Yeah, we do, because that's what neighbors do. We show up." Tom gestured to the crowd. "Most of us saw Emma's video. We heard what she said about you, about how you helped her, taught her, gave her space to find herself. That's the Marcus we know, and if anyone tries to say different, they're going to have to go through all of us first." Marcus felt his throat tighten. "I don't know what to say." "Don't say nothing. Just accept it. Let people help you the way you've been helping them for years." Tom pulled out a thermos. "Now where's this coffee I heard about? Got a feeling it's going to be a long day." By 9 a.m., the farm looked like a community gathering. People brought food, coffee chairs. Someone set up a canopy. Kids played in the yard while adults talked quietly, keeping watch. Emma came outside, stopped, stared at the crowd. "What is this?" "This," Marcus said, "is community. Come on. Time you met some real Mississippi folks." For the next hour, Emma was introduced to farmer after farmer, their wives, their children. People who'd known Marcus his whole life. People who'd known his father, his grandfather, his great-grandfather. People who had stories. "Your daddy helped me when my barn burned," one man told Marcus. "Gave me lumber, helped rebuild, didn't ask for payment." "Your granddaddy taught me how to rotate crops when I was just starting out," another said. "Spent 3 days on my land showing me what he knew, for free." "Marcus fixed my tractor last summer," a woman added. "Refused payment. Said neighbors help neighbors." Emma listened to story after story, watching Marcus's face grow more and more uncomfortable with the praise. Finally, she understood something important. Marcus Thompson was exactly who he appeared to be. No hidden agenda, no manipulation. Just a man who helped because helping was right. At 10 a.m., the lawyers arrived. 3 cars, 6 people, briefcases, and serious faces. They stopped at the end of the driveway, surveying the crowd. Walsh, Robert Sutton's attorney, got out first. He walked up slowly, taking in the scene. "Mr. Thompson, we need to speak with Emma Sutton. We have documents requiring her signature." "Miss Sutton is busy," Tom said, stepping forward. "Maybe come back later." "This is a legal matter." "Everything's a legal matter with you people." Tom crossed his arms. "Miss Sutton's an adult. She's made her choice, and she's got a whole lot of witnesses here who'll testify she's of sound mind, acting freely and not being coerced by anyone." One of the other lawyers pulled out her phone, started recording. "We're documenting this. The intimidation, the obstruction. Document away." An older black woman stepped forward. "I'm Pastor Ruth Williams, Bethel AME Church. I've known Marcus Thompson since he was in diapers. If you think this man is capable of manipulating anyone, you don't know him at all. This is highly irregular. No, what's irregular is a billionaire trying to force his adult daughter into a marriage she doesn't want." Pastor Williams' voice carried authority. "What's irregular is using mental health as a weapon. What's irregular is hiding a dead woman's assets from her daughter. You want to talk irregular? Let's talk about what Robert Sutton's been doing for 20 years. Emma appeared on the porch, Keisha beside her. I'm not signing anything, Emma called out. And I'm filing charges tomorrow for misappropriation of funds, my mother's funds. My lawyer has all the documentation. Walsh's face tightened. Miss Sutton, your father is willing to negotiate. I'm not. Tell my father the only thing I want from him is full control of my mother's estate and the freedom to never speak to him again. Everything else, he can keep it. The trust fund, the properties attached to it, all of it. I don't want his money. I never did. You're making a mistake. No, I'm making a choice. There's a difference. Emma came down the porch steps, Marcus and Keisha flanking her. And Mr. Walsh. Every word you say right now is being recorded by about 20 different phones. Every threat, every implication, every attempt to intimidate me. So choose your next words carefully. Walsh looked at his team, at the crowd, at Emma standing tall with community around her. He pulled out his phone, made a call, spoke quietly. Then he hung up. Mr. Sutton wants to speak with you, privately. No. Emma, please, 5 minutes. Your father, no lawyers, just you and him. Emma looked at Marcus. He nodded. Your choice. Fine. Put him on speaker, right here, with witnesses. Walsh looked like he wanted to argue. Then he handed Emma his phone. Emma. Robert Sutton's voice tired in a way Emma had never heard before. I'm sorry. Emma nearly dropped the phone. I'm sorry for controlling you, for using your mother's death as leverage, for treating you like property instead of like my daughter. Robert paused. I watched your video, the one at the courthouse. I watched it 50 times, and I finally understood something your mother tried to tell me before she died. She said I was going to lose you if I didn't learn to let go. I didn't believe her. I thought control was love, protection was love, providing was love. Dad, let me finish, please. Robert's voice cracked. Your mother made that video because she knew I'd fail you. She knew I'd use money as a weapon, fear as motivation, control as love. And she was right. About all of it. So I'm releasing the trust. Today. Full control transfers to you. No conditions. No marriage requirement. No restrictions. It's yours. I don't want it. I know. That's how I know you're ready for it. Robert laughed, but it sounded like crying. Emma, you're my daughter, my only child, and I've spent 15 years trying to turn you into your mother without understanding that you're something better. You're yourself, brave and fierce and willing to lose everything for freedom. I'm proud of you. And I'm sorry it took losing you to figure that out. Emma was crying now, openly, not trying to hide it. Dad, You don't have to say anything. Just live. Live the life your mother wanted for you. The life you want for yourself. And Emma. If that life includes that farmer, if it includes Mississippi, if it includes anything that makes you happy, I support it. No judgment. No interference. Just love. The real kind. The kind that lets go. The line went dead. Emma stood holding Walsh's phone, tears streaming down her face. 30 people witnessing her father's surrender. He let me go, she whispered. He actually let me go. Marcus pulled her into a hug. Yeah, he did. The lawyers left. The crowd slowly dispersed, people hugging Emma and Marcus, offering support, promising to come back if needed. By evening, only Tom remained, helping Marcus clean up. That girl's good for you, Tom said, loading chairs into his truck. Keeps you honest, makes you fight for things. We're not together. Yet. But you will be. I seen how you look at each other. That's not just gratitude, that's something real. Tom closed his tailgate. Don't overthink it, Marcus. Life's too short for overthinking. After Tom left, Marcus found Emma in the garden, sitting on the ground, her mother's letter in her hands. You okay? He asked. I don't know. I feel like I should be celebrating. I got my money, my freedom, my father's blessing, everything I wanted. She looked up at him. So why do I feel so empty? Because freedom's just the beginning. Now you gotta figure out what to do with it. Marcus sat beside her in the dirt. That's the hard part. The part your mama couldn't plan for. The part where you choose your life instead of just escaping someone else's version of it. What if I don't know what I want? Then you stay here, keep learning, keep working, keep figuring it out. Marcus picked up a handful of soil, let it run through his fingers. This land has been teaching Thompsons for 77 years. It'll teach you too if you let it. Is that an invitation to stay? That's an invitation to choose. Stay, go figure it out here or somewhere else. Whatever you need, Emma. I'm not keeping you, and I'm not pushing you away. I'm just offering space. Emma leaned her head on his shoulder. What if what I need is time? Time to be just me with no pressure, no expectations, no deadlines. Time to wake up every morning and choose that day instead of having it chosen for me. Then that's what you take. They sat in the garden as the sun set. Two people who'd found each other at exactly the right moment, neither of them sure what came next, but both of them finally free to find out. And maybe that was enough. Maybe freedom didn't come with answers. Maybe it just came with the right to keep asking questions, keep choosing, keep living. One day, one decision, one brave moment at a time. The way Emma's mother had wanted. The way Marcus's ancestors had modeled. The way two broken people became whole by learning to choose themselves first. And each other maybe when the time was right. But for now, they just sat in the dirt and watched the stars come out. That was enough. It had to be.